2022 is quickly approaching. In fact, it'll be here before we know it. And that means right now in Q4 of 2021, it is the best time to create a game plan so that you can hit the ground running come January 1st. And that's exactly what I want to talk about today. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down my exact strategy of how I plan to double my income in 2022. I'm going to be talking about the side hustles and the revenue streams that I plan to utilize in order to accomplish this goal. I'm going to be talking about some of the things that I've learned and some of the mistakes that I've made in 2021 and how I plan on using those mistakes to come out better in 2022. And I'm going to be talking about how you guys can implement these same strategies in your life as well. So let's get started. Now, over the last couple of months, I've developed a pretty intense game plan of how I plan to double my income and the exact steps that I plan on taking with my fiance HP. And that's really what I want to talk about in this video, because I think a lot of the steps that HP and I will be taking over the next year are steps that you can absolutely take in your own life with your own side hustles or with your own Turo fleet. So I think that they can help you increase your own income as well. Now, before we dive into this video, if you guys could do me a huge favor, and if you could please hit the like button and hit that notification bell for the YouTube algorithm, I would greatly appreciate it. This helps let YouTube know that you guys are enjoying my content, and thus it helps grow my channel and push my videos out to a new audience. So if you could do that, I would greatly appreciate it. So now that we got that out of the way, let's dig into what you guys actually came here for, and that is digging into my strategy of how I plan to double my income in 2022. Now, it is important to preface this all by saying that all of my income pretty much comes from the gig economy. I don't have a 9-to-5 job. I don't go to an office each and every day. I really have a lot of different side hustles that in accumulation with each other make up the income that I make each and every month. Now, I've made a lot of videos talking about my different revenue streams, what I focus on, what I do on a day-to-day basis. And so I'm not going to go into a ton of depth in this video just for the sake of not being super redundant. But once again, if you guys want to check out those videos, I will have a handful of them down in the comments below. What I really want to focus on in this video is the revenue streams that I'm going to be doubling down on in 2022 and how I plan on improving those revenue streams and expanding those revenue streams in order to double my income. Now, the first one and the most obvious one is Turo. Now, Turo is a peer-to-peer car sharing platform. It is one that makes a pretty substantial portion of my overall income, and it's one that I absolutely plan on really diving deeper into in 2022. Now, earlier this year in June, my fiance HP quit his job in car sales in order to concentrate on our Turo fleet full time. And at this point, he does about 90% of all of the work with our Turo fleet. I handle a lot of the guest interactions, I handle reimbursement requests, I handle tools, I really handle the logistics of the business. But whenever it comes to the heavy lifting, HP handles most of that. The fact that for the first time ever, I will have a partner helping me with the Turo fleet for the entire year of 2022 is something that will be a huge game changer in and of itself, because up until June, I was managing our Turo fleet, I was doing this YouTube channel, I was working consulting, I was doing all of the other stuff that I was doing, and it became really difficult to manage. And so the fact that Turo has almost been completely offloaded from my plate and has been put onto HP's is something that will help us increase our overall revenue. Now, when it comes to increasing your revenue on Turo, the name of the game is just buying more cars. If you want to make more money, you got to buy more cars. Or alternatively, you got to make sure that your cars are being utilized as much as possible. And that's really where HP and I made a pretty big mistake this past year. In 2021, our cars were broken a lot. And whenever they broke, they spent a long time sitting. To give you guys an example, we have a green Hyundai that has been out with a transmission issue since June, and we're just now getting it fixed currently today in October of 2021. The reason why our cars are sitting for so long is really due to the fact that all year long, HP and I had too much on our plate. For the entire first half of the year, HP was juggling his full-time job while being our sole mechanic for our Turo fleet, and I was juggling all of the stuff on our plate, and as a result, nothing was able to get done efficiently. HP does 99% of all of the maintenance on our vehicles, and because of this, there started to become a really big backlog issue. Whenever cars were getting broken, they weren't able to be fixed in a timely manner, and as a result, a lot of cars were sitting. That is one thing that we will without a doubt be changing in 2022, is we will begin to delegate some of the bigger projects out to automotive shops. That way we can get cars fixed and get them back on the road quicker. The green Hyundai that I mentioned a few moments ago is really a perfect example of this and how it was a really short-sighted decision decision to not take that car into an automotive shop whenever it actually broke. Yeah, it probably would have cost $1,000 in order to get it fixed, but we could have got it fixed in a couple of weeks, and then it would have made that money back within a couple of months. Instead, it was sitting in front of our house for months on end, and now it is just now getting fixed, and we're still paying about $1,000 to get it fixed because we're taking it to a shop. Not getting this done earlier in the year was something that was quite honestly a stupid mistake on my end, and I wish we would have delegated that out sooner. So we will definitely be delegating more of our work out in 2022 to prevent HP from getting backlogged, and so that we can keep cars being utilized as often as possible. All in all, our Turo fleet in 2022 is definitely a big focus. We plan on expanding our fleet to between 20 and 25 cars. One of our goals for 2021 was to get to 20 cars by the end of the year, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen because of the fact that number one, used cars are incredibly high priced, and number two, we ended up getting so backlogged that we didn't want to put any more new cars on our plates until we could get caught up with our old cars. But now that will be happening in the next couple of weeks, we'll be putting ourselves in a position to aggressively buy come the new year. I believe that we should pretty conservatively be able to double our Turo income by mid-2022. The next revenue stream that we're really banking on in 2022 is YouTube. Now, I've talked a lot about YouTube, how I've used this as a really lucrative side hustle, and how you guys can do the same. And my sentiments with YouTube haven't changed at all. I still think that YouTube is one of the best opportunities out there. I think that if you're somebody who likes the idea of content creation, or if you're passionate about a single topic, then creating a YouTube channel and really diving into that head first is a really great decision. And I think 2022 is a great time to do this. Now, I of course have this YouTube channel, but I also have a second vlog channel as well that I do with my fiance, and that channel is titled Aubrey and HP. Now, as of right now, this channel has about 850 subscribers, and we are very, very close to getting monetized. Now, you guys may or may not know that not every YouTube channel can get monetized, which means that not every YouTube channel makes money. In fact, you have to meet specific thresholds in order to start making money off of your YouTube channel. Now, this YouTube channel that you guys are watching now is monetized. It's been monetized for about a year and a half now, and I've made some pretty good money from making videos on this channel. But my second channel isn't quite monetized yet, but it should be by the end of the year. I'm really interested to see what happens once that channel gets monetized. I've been really happy with the progress of that channel, and even though the channel is super small as of right now, I think that it has a lot of potential. With YouTube, it's really cool because all it takes is one viral video in order to absolutely skyrocket your YouTube channel to the next level. For example, this YouTube channel was floundering and it was struggling to really gain traction in 2020 until it absolutely exploded in May, June, and July of 2020 with stimulus content. And the same type of thing could eventually end up happening with my vlog channel as well. Once you gain some traction, once you get the ball rolling, the snowball effect is a very real thing with YouTube. And as long as you can be consistent, you can make some good content, then you can absolutely turn this into a lucrative side hustle. And HP and I are definitely banking on YouTube, both this channel as well as our vlog channel, in order to really help us increase our income in the new year. Next is Outdoorsy and RV Share. Now, this is one that I've been talking about now for like a year and a half, and to be honest, I'm embarrassed to even mention it on this list because this one should already be making me money, and yet it's not. And that is my elusive camper van. Now, many of you may or may not know that in June of 2020, I purchased a 2015 Ford Transit camper van with the hope of turning it into a camper van that I could then rent out on Outdoorsy. I have an entire series of videos documenting this on both this channel as well as my vlog channel. And let's just say that the camper van has not gone off without a hitch. It has been an extremely bumpy road, mainly due to the fact that HP and I have spread ourselves way too thin over the last year, and because of this, we have not had the proper amount of time to work on the van. As a result, the van has been moving at an absolute snail's pace, and what was originally supposed to be the goal of getting it finished in December of 2020 has now turned into the goal of getting it finished in December of 2021, so we are nearly a year behind schedule. Now, the silver lining is this camper van has taught me a ton about almost everything. I feel like I've learned a lot of really valuable skills from this build, but I have to admit I have a love-hate relationship with the thing. It's currently sitting in my backyard, which is like the eyesore of the neighborhood, and I'm eagerly awaiting to finish finish it so that I can send it off to an RV lot where it can properly be stored rather than having it sit as a yard decor item in my backyard. But the thing that I'm really excited about here is the fact that we are actually getting really close to being finished with this thing. And we should be done by December of 2021 unless something catastrophic happens. If you guys are interested in learning more about the camper van and where we currently are at with the camper van build, as well as what we've done to it over the last year and a half, then check out my vlog channel. I'll include a link down in the description below. And on that exact same note is our 29-foot RV. Now this is in the category of RV share, outdoorsy, and potentially Airbnb. Now this is another one that is documented on my vlog channel. I will include a link to this video if you're interested in checking it out. But about a month ago, HP and I purchased a 29-foot RV, and the purpose for purchasing this was to list it out on Outdoorsy. This was sort of an impulse buy. It kind of just fell into our lap. We had a family friend that was selling it for an insanely good deal, like $5,000-$6,000 below market value, and we simply couldn't pass it up. And our thought process was that we would buy it, we would see how it performed on these platforms, and if it didn't perform, we would simply sell it. Now, interestingly enough, we actually used this RV for the very first time this past weekend. HP, my dad, and my sister surprised me for an early birthday trip to Arkansas, where we took this RV and we actually used it to see how it functioned, and it is a really cool RV. The problem is though, is that traveling for 4 hours each way in this RV made us want to rethink our game plan with this RV a bit. Now the RV is 29 feet, it is pretty massive, which means you have to have a pretty capable car in order to tow it. To give you some perspective, I have a Toyota 4Runner and my 4Runner cannot tow this RV, but my dad's Toyota Tundra can tow it. So there's a lot of limitations on what type of car you have to use in order to tow this large of an RV. Additionally, this RV is not for the faint of heart. It's very big and it's very hard to drive with. It can sometimes be very difficult to maneuver. I would not want to drive it. I definitely would not feel comfortable driving it, but HP is very good at driving it. Driving this massive RV from Dallas, Texas to Hot Springs, Arkansas has made us quite honestly rethink our strategy of how we're going to make money off of this RV. And instead of putting it on Outdoorsy or RV share, we're actually debating on putting it on Airbnb instead and going the route of renting a lot next to a lake or next to a nice park and then renting out the RV as an Airbnb unit rather than an RV on these other platforms. We think that this could be a really great alternative because of the fact that we won't have to worry about guests driving with the RV. We won't have to worry about finding guests that have a vehicle capable of towing this car, and it also means that there will be less wear and tear on the RV as well. We think that this could be a win-win situation all the way around. Now this is still kind of in the planning phase, and unfortunately going on a trip with this RV kind of threw a curveball into our original RV plans. But we will definitely be keeping you updated on what we end up deciding to do with this RV and how we plan on maximizing our earnings. Again, this will be found on our vlog channel. I may make a couple of videos on this channel as well, but definitely follow the vlog channel if you want to learn about this in more depth. But regardless, we will definitely be making some money off of the RV. The amount is still up in the air. The strategy is still up in the air, but we're going to be getting creative with it. And lastly is online content creation. Now, one of my big focuses for 2021 was to create a lot of courses around the fields I consider myself to be an expert in. As a result, I created a YouTube course, I created a Turo course, and I created a freelancing course. And these courses have been extremely successful. I've been super happy with how they've done. Now, over the last year, I've also been updating these courses, trying to provide as much value as I can to the course members. But in 2022, what I want to do is I want to pivot my focus from these online courses and instead focus on online content. I want to start doing consultations. I want to start talking with you guys more one-on-one. I want to do group coaching, things like that. The exact way that I plan on doing this is still up in the air, but definitely stay tuned for this. Now, when it comes to how you guys could capitalize off of content creation, there are so many different ways that you could pursue. I'm a firm believer that everybody is an expert in something, and there's always a way that you can monetize that expertise if you choose to. So creating things like a YouTube channel, a podcast, social media pages, a blog, courses, coaching, there are so many different things that you can pursue, and these are all great ways to turn your passion into a profitable business. Now, with that being said, you guys, I wanted to make this video because I think that these types of topics are extremely important to talk about because they help get your creative juices flowing on how you can increase increase your own income. Whenever it comes to increasing your income, I think so often it's easy to default to the very traditional ways. Invest in rental properties, invest in the stock market, get a raise at work. But the reality is that there are so many different ways to increase your income and increase your income quite substantially. This is one of the reasons why I love the gig economy. I love side hustles. I love the entire mindset around side hustle culture, is because of the fact that it truly allows for you to double, triple, or quadruple your income in a relatively short period of time. And the great thing about side gigs is that there isn't any right or wrong way to go about doing it. You can take a really mainstream concept and then you can flip it and pivot it to make it fit you, your needs, and what you're looking for. For example, exactly what I'm doing with Airbnb in my RV. I purchased the RV to rent it out on Outdoorsy. I don't think that's going to work the way that I hoped that it would, so I'm pivoting to Airbnb instead, which I think could ultimately end up being a better game plan at the end of the day anyways. There are so many different creative methods that you can use and you can take advantage of in order to make money, and it's all about finding what you enjoy, finding out what you're good at, and then monetizing that to the best of your abilities. Like always, you guys, if you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, make sure to leave a comment down below, and while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.